This is a follow-up video from the last one concerning whether consciousness is hijacked by the devil. Another thing I was thinking about was when I say we don't really need a conscience if we are part of the divine and realize that, then it's also like, well, how can conscience then be hijacked? If you don't need it at all, it can't be hijacked either any longer, right? Well, to me, this also heavily ties into this concept written in the Bible of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, which is essentially saying that you are starting to embrace a duality, and conscience really likes you to embrace duality instead of unity, because spiritually, on a deep spiritual level of who you truly are, there is only unity, not duality. These are all illusions that we experience. You see, I had enormous issues with shame, regret, and guilt due to my own conscience. But then yesterday, in deep meditation, I burst out laughing, almost, because I was noticing, wait a minute, that is another construct of Satan himself. To feel shame, regret, guilt, does that sound divine to you? Or does that sound demonic and evil? Like something that only drags you down, that hurts you more than it helps you. Yet so many people around the globe are dealing, in secret usually, with shame, regret, guilt. They shy away from it towards the world. They don't want people to know. Because after all, these emotions are not very comfortable. We all know that. Now, he wants me, you and I, he wants us to feel these things so he can keep us trapped and track us. Well, fuck you, Satan. That's the realization. Tell him to fuck off. You see, Satan is symbolism for all that is negative, that is dark, that we experience. Shame, regret, guilt, due to your conscience nagging you, that's darkness inside your mind. That's messing with your spirit. How can I reach the divine if I feel shame, guilt, and regret? And that is due to conscience. Oh, you can't behave like that. You shouldn't have said that. And then the more you dwell on it, the more you are basically forced yet again on the physical illusions of life. How sneaky it all works. But how else can billions of people be trapped without knowing it? Instead, we can and should blame Satan and his minions for our bad behavior. In my case, drunk me. That is exactly what the devil wants. So why should I feel bad? I've done stupid shit drunk. Not just to others, but also to myself, my own body. Permanent scars. Well, I guess they can be battle scars of my fight with the devil, in a way. So rather, instead of just going along with what the evil tendencies of conscience dictate I should do, let me just take away the power of the devil by not going along with his temptations anymore. Because that's how this all happens. Through temptations. You do something stupid, they become tempted to do something about it, right? Your conscience is nagging you. Do something about this. Well, in ignorance, many people around the globe start to take alcohol or drugs to do something about this nagging conscience of theirs. They're all being plagued by the devil. You see, in the end, it's his fault that you behave badly. The devil doesn't want you to remember your divine nature. Because if you did, then you're automatically very kind and loving. And you can also break free from the reincarnation cycle altogether. So you would end up alone, which is his greatest fear. You see, misery loves company. Darkness truly loves divine company. Because without the spark of the divine that you are, that I am, that we all are, darkness would be very lonely. He needs to lure us into this realm. To trap us into physicality for as long as possible. To keep us lost in the maze of conscience and mind matrix madness. You know, all the programming, labels, everything is a giant matrix. To distract what? Who you really are. Your infinite self. Being distracted. Dragged all over the place by the labels created in this satanic world. It was even in the Bible. You know, that dragon, that serpent cast out of heaven, the devil, Satan, cast down to earth with his minions. This is his place. In the book of Revelation, it's also said, I know where your throne is, Satan. You know where his throne is? It's inside your own mind. It is part of your conscience. That's his throne. Get rid of it. Step off that throne. Throw it away. Kick it down. Fuck you, Satan. Go fuck yourself. That's literally how intense you should dare to be. Now, of course, you don't have to use the same language as I do concerning this situation, but as long as you're intense in your own way and really make clear that you don't want to go along with him any longer, with his weird, subtle lies and manipulation of the mind. So, in the end, it remains a good thing to recognize, therefore, your phantom self, which is to say your persona, your physical identity, because that's all part of the satanic nature of reality. So you recognize, for example, I would say, I am Renil, I'm a man, I was born in Sri Lanka, but I was raised in the Netherlands, I was adopted, I'm in my 30s, my skin color is brown, I live in Europe, it's cold outside. You notice these things in your mind, if you think of yourself and your reality. But then as you think of it, try to notice, who is it that is noticing these thoughts and phenomena, that is having these experiences? That unknown, invisible awareness is actually your divine self. But it keeps, like with me and most, it keeps being dragged all over the place and gets lost in the labels of physical existence and phenomena. But if you rediscover this invisible awareness that you are, and you notice you're thinking of yourself as a man or a woman in this lifetime, you can notice, I am experiencing being a man or a woman. I am experiencing. So what am I? Who am I really? What is this strange invisible power in me that is aware of all this? If you keep paying attention to it, you are slowly breaking apart the illusion in which most of humanity is lost. Once you can fully embrace that, you will sense an enormous relief. Especially because if your body drops dead, to still remember, I am infinite awareness. All these things are just experiences I no longer need to obey. Then you take your power back from the devil. Then you rise up again from the fall, from that fall from Eden. Others who have not even tried to learn this, if they die, a demon or angel comes to them and they might say, you did some bad things in your past life. You should go back and try again, or try and be more loving this time. And the soul says, you're right, I was kinda mean. I'll try again, no worries. You see, that's because of conscience, still obeying conscience. The devil inside of you. It's like totally asleep to its own true nature. That it is divine and does not have to be a prisoner any longer. Why the fuck should we have to come back to this earth full of chaos to learn to be more loving, when our memory is also constantly wiped? So we are born and can't remember what we are, where we are, and have to relearn to walk and talk and fit into society, to be brainwashed all over again. And guess what? Hopefully your conscience is intact, so you follow along. You follow nicely along, because if it's not intact, oh no, you're a psychopath. No, wait a minute. If you are in connection with your infinite self, with your divine nature, then you don't need a conscience. Then you don't need to eat of the tree of good and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You don't have to eat from it then. How fucking insidious is this physical system? And why do so many people defend it? Reincarnation is to learn lessons. It becomes more and more absurd if you analyze it carefully. If you are a child of the divine, then you don't need to learn lessons at all. That is the great lie and illusion only the devil can want you to believe. That is in the end at the root of it all, and once you obey the divine, you no longer want any part of the devil's playground, which is physical existence. Really think about that. You see, reaching this enlightenment, awakening spiritually is all good. It's noble, it's important to do so, but we also should not be afraid to face the darkness, all the evil, the demonic bullshit that is also going on out here. Because if we don't, we only see one side of this maze that we're in. We all want the good, the divine, ultimately. But if we then stick our heads into the sand and not admit there's also demonic, devilish shit going on here, then we're not seeing the bigger picture at all, and then we might still be fooled. But by understanding first and foremost that you are infinite awareness and have become trapped in physicality because of the devil, because of illusions and deception. You see, the soul, we keep going back to that term soul, but actually soul is also another trap. If you consider soul being your physical identity again. You see, that's why they say ultimately we are spirit. So understand the symbolism. You as infinite self, as spirit, as a child of the divine, became trapped in physicality. Why? Because we are also expressing here, if you listen carefully to most humans, and even yourself perhaps, you try to reason, which is another aspect of Satan. That power of reason can be hijacked by Satan as well. We start to reason, there must be a reason why I'm here. It must be to help others. It must be to do something, to share something with the world. This all sounds nice on the surface, but it's also a great way to lure a child of God into physicality and to entrap them here, to make them trapped in this limited matrix of physicality in which all kinds of suffering exists. So imagine yourself as a free spirit. A signal comes from this dimension, three-dimensional space. And you feel in your infinite compassion, it's not going so well down there. I should go and try and help these people out there. Let me go down there and help them. And then as you go down here, you yourself became trapped in the same matrix as the others already were in. Yes, it's disturbing to consider, isn't it? So most people rather stick their heads in the sand, not think about it. Let us think about this and realize, okay, if this is my predicament, then I want to get the fuck away from it. How am I going to get the hell out of here? By expanding my awareness beyond the limitations of 3D reality. By becoming more and more familiar and aware of my true nature. By gaining all those wonderful experiences outside of the body, which I already have and keep having. So I already know that I am not my body and not my ego, not my phantom self. But so insidious is this aspect that it tries to drag you back to its lair. It tries to lure you back into temptations, into limitations. And then you start to suffer all over again. Let's remain vigilant and aware. The best is yet to come when you awaken from the dream of physicality.